Good Sunday morning. I'm Mike Nasel with the latest on the tropics. Hurricane season 2020 won't give up. We've got a new tropical storm in the Caribbean Sea and a hurricane moving out to sea. Let's get straight to it. First of all, I wanted to show you the name list. Obviously, we moved past the regular list into the Greek alphabet until we reached the year 2021. However long it goes, hurricane season goes till the end of November, and we have never had a year, except 2005, where we hit the name Zeta, at least in modern hurricane history. If we have any more storms, we're on to Eta, Theta, Iota, Kappa, Lambda, Mu. We'll be well into it. We'll see how far we get, but it's tied with the most active season ever because of this feature here in the Caribbean Sea. Here's the latest on Tropical Storm Zeta as of 11 a.m. Eastern Time from the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida. Zeta was at 17.8 north, 83.8 west, winds of 40, so it's a minimal tropical storm. It's not moving at all. It's stationary right now, and that should remain the same for the next few hours. We do have a hurricane watch in effect from Tulum to Rio Lagartos, Mexico, including Cozumel, areas impacted just weeks ago by Hurricane Delta. Of course, that was a powerful Category 2 storm. This is not expected to be that, but it is expected to be at or near hurricane strength near the Yucatan. We also have tropical storm warnings there, as well as for western Cuba. You can see right now tropical storm force winds in the orange don't extend out very far. We basically have high pressure that's going to develop in this area near Florida and steer Zeta to the northwest. Then it should move into the Gulf as a hurricane, Category 1, and then feel the influence of a trough coming in and begin to move to the northeast very quickly. You can see Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, way up over Tennessee. So we're going to get it up and out, hopefully quickly. And again, it could even be further east than this. It could be further west. But right now, it could weaken below hurricane strength before landfall. I'll show you why in a minute. Nevertheless, another threat to the North Gulf Coast. They've just been battered this year. I mean, even Hanna in Corpus Christi, Texas. If it wasn't Texas, it was Louisiana. If it wasn't Louisiana, we had Sally in Alabama. The one state that's gotten off pretty easy so far is Florida. Here's Zeta on the visible. You can see convection is bursting. However, it's still disorganized. You can't really see a well-defined center. You got some winds blowing up here, and you have it bursting in here. But still, you can see these clouds here. Look at these little clouds dragging inward. So that is a sign of the circulation, but it is still elongated and disorganized. However, it is over warm waters, and the conditions are favorable enough for this to potentially become a hurricane. So if you're in the Yucatan, Cozumel, Cancun, Tulum, you guys here on the coast, get ready for a potential landfall from a hurricane. Here's the European ensembles as of 6 Zulu time. You can see they mostly keep it a tropical storm anywhere from Houston, Galveston over to areas of, say, Houma, Louisiana, zeroing in on the Laura and Delta ravaged areas there of southwestern Louisiana again, Cameron Parish, Vermilion Parish, these areas. That's where the European is generally headed. The GFS and the ensembles, the stronger ones are further east. So they have it either staying a Category 1 hurricane or close to it and moving further towards the Panhandle. So these models are more towards Cameron, Louisiana, on over to Apalachicola, Florida, which puts 4 states in play, to say nothing of Georgia and the Carolinas once it turns to the right. So again, right now it's too soon to say. The Hurricane Center has it coming in generally around the Louisiana-Mississippi Delta and then into Mississippi and Alabama. So again, that's 1, 2, 3 states. However, it could be elongated, stretched out, weakening, interacting with a cold front, hopefully, and we wouldn't have to deal with it. By deal with it, I mean a hurricane, or at least a strong hurricane, it doesn't look like. You can see the models slamming into the Gulf Coast, and look at, in the later range, sometime around November 4th or so, they show lowering pressures in the long term. So if you're in western Florida and you think, hey, we made it, no hurricanes, November could have strong hurricanes come up and out. So keep an eye on the tropics with this hurricane season for sure. We've already had 5 nasty hurricanes hit. One of them was a catastrophic Hurricane Laura in Louisiana. Sea surface temperatures, as I mentioned, very hot water down here. Still very tropical, very muggy. That's why we have those thunderstorms bursting. But as Zeta moves into the Gulf, the waters get cooler and cooler. And remember how many storms we've had in the Gulf. I mean, since June, we had Cristobal, we had Hurricane Hannah into Texas. Then we had Laura move on up. Marco, which died before it made landfall, which preceded Laura. Then we had Hurricane Sally come up and stall near Alabama. We had Tropical Storm Beta, remember that, into Texas. And then we had Hurricane Delta. And now we're going to have Zeta move on up. I mean, that is an insane amount of activity for the Gulf. And Florida's been sticking out there like a sore thumb and hasn't gotten anything. So you guys, knock on wood, have been lucky. Wind shear, you can see very favorable here, just to the south and southwest of the center. If it gets under that, it has an ideal environment for strengthening. It would be ventilated in that clockwise direction over the top of the counterclockwise. Very favorable. But look at this. Shear to the north is insane over the Gulf of Mexico. You can see that even better where you have the blues here, very favorable, but look at the reds. Very high wind shear. So that should keep Zeta either in check as a minimal hurricane or even weakening before it makes landfall. So we'll deal with it, but it's not going to be a Category 4 hurricane or anything at this point in time. Hurricane Epsilon, still a hurricane, 75 miles an hour. It's about 250 miles, give or take, 10 miles or so from Cape Race, Newfoundland, and it is soaring to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. And the pressure is very low in the 960s, 970s. It's a powerful and large storm. Look at the wind field. The hurricane wind's not too far. But look at those tropical storm force winds clipping areas there of the Canadian Maritimes. Nova Scotia, you look pretty good, but Newfoundland, you're going to get clipped here. There you can see it racing away from Cape Race. Cape Race, Newfoundland is right in here. And we use that in the hurricane world as a reference point whenever storms are this far out, because that's pretty much its only location. It's way out there over the cold North Atlantic, racing to the northeast. Still a powerful storm for any shipping interests. So that's going to do it right now for Epsilon and Zeta. We're going to watch Zeta very carefully. Epsilon's going to be out of here, and hopefully it doesn't get all the way to Ireland and Scotland up here. But again, if you're in Great Britain and all that, you could always have those storms once they transition to non-tropical and they impact areas. But right now, Epsilon's out and Zeta is in. And Zeta is forecast to intensify as it moves to the northwest. Right now, not moving at all in the Caribbean Sea. I'm Mike Naso with the latest on Zeta and Epsilon, and I will talk to you guys next time.